ever been to a wild bachelorette? Curious.
I don't think so.
No, but when I listen that words, it make me think like crazy things, and that's why when you say that you want to celebrate my bachelor,
She was like, no.
I say no, I don't know, girls, I love you, but I don't want.
Most of the people think like that because, for example, Zane went to a bachelor in Italy last year, and they went to what's the place?
Like a farm?
Like a farm.
In
But
Florence.
they didn't do anything. Like they were just guys, and yeah, exactly, just having fun. That's it. It doesn't mean like you have to be with, I don't know, having a crazy party or strippers or something like that. Yeah.
But I think that's what people have made it seem like. It has to be this night where you basically are set up to almost cheat.
Exactly. It's her last night before you keep it to just one man forever. So you can do anything you want.
It makes it seem like being with one man is like the worst thing ever. You gotta like let it out.
The punishment, yeah.
A punishment, yes.
Like tomorrow you die.
After that, how can you go to the special night with the man, that the person that you love? How can be the conscience that you do something wrong? No.
For example, in the Bachelor of Lucia, we went to New York and we have so much fun, right?
Like
We went to a club, but we were just us, you know, like having fun, dancing, and that's it.
I think it's just being very operator. It's almost like, okay, if you don't enjoy right now, you're never gonna enjoy ever again, you know? So it's just like, yeah, it makes it seem like it's the worst thing to just be monogamous. That. Yeah, it's like it's almost sad, you know? I've never been to an actual bachelorette before but I've seen the movies and I've seen the on TV and I've seen the culture and I've seen the girls, you know, drunk on the streets about to just, you know, puke them. I'm like, it's just not, you know, it's just not nice. I'm glad that we have a group of people and a group of girls that do it the right way, because we can have a lot of fun without having to, without having to do anything. Exactly.
Our own morals.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we have a great life. We live in peace, and like everything we want, we get it. Like we have great men, ethical, and I think that's why we attract each other.
Because can you imagine like how, well, I don't even know, whoever promotes this, like, go out, do the bachelor, it's for the guys too. You have to have a stripper, you have to have this. For the guys, it's even more. It's like more pressure. And then you do that right before you're gonna get married, right before you're gonna say your vows, right before you're gonna commit to a person, and you're coming into something already with something that you're hiding. And that phenomenon is probably going to be with you, or that, like, I don't know how to say it. Like a weight in your shoulders, that's gonna be with you going into the marriage. So I'm not like, I think we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna talk, we're gonna do this and that. And then for my bachelorette, we went to a nightclub, we did all that. But it's not like, but nothing bad happened. So going into marriage, it's like you're clean, nothing's wrong, I don't have to hide
It feels
anything.
great.
You feel good, you're not hiding anything. But most people out there, they go into marriage, maybe they did cheat or they didn't necessarily kiss somebody else or whatever, but they had like some other man dancing on them. And I think a person would feel like that's wrong.
If your partner like finds out, how would you feel? Or how would that person feel?
No, y ni siquiera si lo
Se entera.
si se entera. Simplemente el pensar de que hice algo malo ya está mal todo, porque no, o sea, estás como que incómoda, no te salen bien las cosas, no actúas con esa persona bien, ¿sabes? Porque ya has hecho algo en el pasado que...
Yeah, exactly.
It could be a little contradicting for the person because they're doing something that they don't feel good about. Maybe at the moment it was so much fun, but they don't feel good about it after. but then they have the pressure from society that this is the way you have to do it. So it's like, I did it because I have to, not because I want to, and I feel bad about it, but it was the right thing to do at the time. So it's conflicting. It's really conflicting.
And it's like betraying yourself.
Exactly.
Because you didn't, I mean, maybe somebody wants to, I don't know.
Maybe.
But if you don't want to, you do it, then you betray yourself, you betray your partner, your whole
I think that's why it's so important to handle, like, go out with the right people, with the people that has the same values than you. Because if not, you're gonna feel like you are in the wrong place and you do something because you're friends or something like that. But if you have high moral values, you're gonna handle with that same people, and you're gonna feel good about it.
Oh my God, I did have the worst bachelorette in Vegas. I was 22, I just remember. Wrong crowd, wrong friends. We went to a nightclub in Vegas, and there was this thing, because it was so bad. Everyone got so drunk. And the ladies that I was with, some of them were older than me. Like, I was 23 and they were like on their 30s. And it was like a very mixed group. I don't know, there was like some sort of like, we don't like you, you don't like us type of thing. And I just remember like they stole my purse with my phone for the entire night.
Why?
They were just mad at me. They were just mad. They were drunk, they were mad. And I remember going back to the room and like crying and like at that time calling my boyfriend, like, I don't know where my phone is. I was calling him from like the hotel phone. And then my friend is like, or not a friend, this other girl's like, I know where your stuff is. Like, the other girls took it. This is the bachelorette party. Like, we all went together. Like, if all of us went together and like you decided to mess up my night and like take my phone, and they took my money, like the cash that I had there. So it was such a horrible experience. From that was my first bachelorette ever, and then I never went to any other bachelor. I was like, this is like the worst thing ever. Like, I'm never gonna do this.
Now we create our own bachelor party.
Exactly. It was so bad. I just remember that thinking when you were saying being with the wrong crowd and betraying yourself. It's so true. Like, I knew that I wasn't supposed to be around these people, and they were not bad people. They were just, we were all, you know, in that moment. But it's so important to find people that are not going to betray you or not going to make you betray yourself. Yeah, that's really important.
Like, imagine how many people just justify that, well, it's my last time, you know? Well, if I don't do this, then I'm never gonna be able to do it later. And if I don't go crazy tonight, then when am I gonna do it? And what are my friends and my family gonna take? Like, enjoy a little, laugh a little bit, you know? It's like, what do they have to tell themselves to justify that that's okay? Yeah. But in reality, like, when they get home, like, do they actually feel good about themselves? Like, not really, right? Like, I don't think so.
That's a lot of charge for that person, and I don't believe that kind of
a lot of
guilt. Okay, yeah, it doesn't give. I don't think that kind of people has good life.
It's
like, yeah, it's very hard. Can have things, but no, cannot be happy.
Yeah, or maybe somebody, you know, listening to this, maybe you're like, okay, I've done stuff that I don't feel good about. My life is okay, but I can't go to that next level. Why? Because there's probably things that you've done in the past that are weighing you down and that you don't feel good about. But I think it just takes being aware, like looking at it and being like, okay, I did that and that wasn't right, and being right with yourself, like communicate with yourself kind of thing. And then you can kind of move on from that.
I went to one, but it was both the couple together doing it, and it was at a Airbnb by the beach in Fort Lauderdale, and it was just a lot of drinking and a lot of drugs and just like a lot of blow-up dolls. Oh, wow. So, but at least they were doing it together. I don't know.
When I got to Miami, I used to work at this company. Not gonna say names, but I used to work in this company, and one of the ladies that was there invited me to go to a strip club for ladies. So it's guys.
Yeah. Wait, what?
There's this girl I used to work with, and she's like, oh, we're gonna go to the club, and you know, and it was just for girls, like, so all the strippers are male, like just a bunch of ladies,
like a ladies
club.
Got it.
In the middle of like nowhere in a horrendous place. And I had never been in a place like that. So I'm like, I didn't know what to expect, you know? And I remember I just got in and I'm like, oh my God. And at that time, I mean, I was already with Todd. And I go and I tell this lady and she's like, you know, stay a little bit. And at that time, I was not like as ethical as I am today. And it's one of those things that somebody, like, you know what's the right thing to do, but then you let somebody else influence you. And I did that. So like that woman, like nowadays I look at it back and she's like, no, stay a little bit. Stay longer. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll celebrate longer. Oh, why don't you sit here and watch this thing? And I'm like, okay. And I'm literally like this, you know, and literally I got home and I wanted to hide it from my husband. At that time we were not married, but I wanted to hide it because I was like, what am I gonna tell him, you know, like that I just went to. And then later on, I actually told him, like maybe a week after, I was for a week hunted by this. Every single day, I'm like, oh my God, like hiding, like he cannot know, delete everything. Like, imagine, like, it was horrible. And then I told him, I'm like, so let me tell you what happened. And I didn't want to do it, and I didn't want to be there. Like, and you know, and he was so understanding in a way. And you know, really, I love that job. I mean, imagine, it was so bad and I felt so horrible, and my code of honor, I guess, my ethics, my morals, I broke that so bad, so hardcore, that I had to actually quit that job. Because that person, like, I couldn't be with those people, you know? If I allowed that person to influence me, which was kind of like a supervisor also, so is it a person that's kind of in power, right? Like in power of me. And I was like, yeah, sure, imagine the next time, how do I say no? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I had to quit that job. Wow. So that was a horrible thing. Wow. Yeah.
Cuando tenía 1 año con 6 más o menos, yo vivía en Los Ángeles. Cuando empezamos nuestra relación fuimos una vez a Eleven con unas amigas. Pero cuando fuimos, pues, o sea, vimos como que nada que ver, ¿no? Y luego él me dice como que espero que esa sea la última vez que nosotros vamos a ese lugar. Yo vivía en Los Ángeles y había venido acá a visitar a una amiga y a mi mamá. Y luego me voy con mi amiga pues a comer y de repente ella y que vamos a Eleven. Y yo en mi mente como que yo prometí que nunca voy a ir a Eleven. Pero me pasó lo que te pasó a ti. De que no tenía la moral para decir no voy a ir, ¿sabes? Y yo fui, aunque me sentía súper asustada y como que yo qué hago aquí, yo dije, bueno, voy a ir pues. Y cuando fui, se enteró, pero por videos y cosas así, ¿no? Desde
el cielo y tierra.
Oh my God. Pero ¿sabes qué? Que desde ese momento yo dije, o sea, casi pierdo mi relación, ¿sabes? Como que no me sentía bien en este lugar, gente gross, y yo dije como que a veces uno hace las cosas, ¿sabes? Como porque otra persona le está influenciando, más no porque uno quiere. Pero ahí es cuando tú llegas y dices, ok, pero si tengo moral, voy a dejar de hacer ese tipo de cosas. En fin, fue allá y yo dije, más nunca. Porque la verdad que tú vas a ese lugar y te sientes como que súper low, ¿sabes? Sí.
Sí, en general don't do something you don't want to do just because other person is pushing you to do it.
Exactamente.
But we all have fallen into that at some point. We all have
It
done
happened
it.
to me too. I have a boyfriend that he has some friends, and some friends like to go to the street club, and he wasn't, but he was very close friend, and he said, okay, let's go to the street club. I was like, okay, it was his birthday, and all the friends want to take him, and he said, okay, and I'm going with you. And I went with him, but I was feeling so bad. I remember that we even have the hands together. I didn't want to look at him. I was like, I sit and I start to drink and not looking nothing. And I was so angry, everybody dancing and everything. And I was like, I am in the wrong place. I don't know until when I'm gonna be in this relationship. And I need to get new friends because this is not the area I wanna live. And I know that when I started with him, he was like high values and everything, but started to hang out with the wrong people and take him to the same place. And every weekend was like, okay, party and crazy things. And it was like, I cannot be in this relationship. Like, they don't know how bad it is for a woman and for themselves, because in the end, we broke up and he, like, I didn't want to be with him. And he was in love, but it's not like, okay, I don't want to be in this area.
Right.
And I prefer to be alone and be, or find the right people.
And you found the right
Yeah, I find the right man.
Then
And
you get
yes, and yeah, it's like that. Like, you follow your instinct, you follow your values, and start everything like from zero, but in the right way.
I love it.
You know, after now that I'm thinking, like, you guys are just, you know, I'm like, oh my god, I did so much. I did so much bad stuff. You know, Lucy, I was talking about 11. So
About what?
11. So I remember Todd didn't want to go, and I made him go. Imagine how bad of an influence I was, that I made him go, and and he'll be like, no, I don't like, and he got in, and then he didn't want to look, and I made him look at other women. Imagine that. And then, like, now I realize, I'm like, wow, like, how horrible is it? Like, at that moment, I was not a good influence on my boyfriend, you know? He was trying to do the right thing, and I'm like, what you're doing, the right thing, I was telling him that that's not the right thing to do. You see? I'm like telling him the opposite. You know why? Because I did that before. You see that? So by me making him do something like that, I'm justifying that I was right by doing the wrong thing prior. You see? But the truth is, I never saw any of this at all until I just did the course. There's a course at my church, and that course is values and integrity. And once I did that, I realized it was the beginning, not even like a huge thing, but it was the beginning of, like, you know what, maybe, just maybe, all of these things that don't make me feel really good, you know, it's the awareness. It gave me the awareness to actually see and differentiate between what's good and what's bad, literally. Like, it's that simple, right? Like, people are like, well, everybody knows what's good and everybody knows what's bad. Well,
Not really.
really? No, not really, you know? So, anyway, yeah.
Danny, now that you talk about first, I did the ups and downs, and that is make me identify with the right people, and why sometimes is like I feel like I cannot go more, and cannot go more is because you are around the wrong people, and some people is bad influence and not let you go after your dreams, after your goals. And it was what's happening to me, because I was like very disciplined. I wake up at 4:30 a.m. I do courses, I work out, like I was doing everything right. And then
You couldn't go to the next level.
yeah, and so, but why you work so hard? But why you wake up so early? But why you want to study on the weekends and start those things? And I say, look, I have big goals. I need to work on that, and this is the responsibility. I didn't born rich. I need to work and get rich, because I want to be successful, and start with the ups and downs. And I see, okay, the first thing is to be with the right people that has the same values, that not gonna push me down, and actually feel happy for the success, and I will be happy for the success of the people around me. And that's why ups and downs was my first course, and I feel like I'm in the right place. I love this place.
That was my first one too. I did that course too. And one thing I realized with that course was that most people was like, well, life is ups and downs. And so I was like, well, it's fine. 1 week I'm really up, and then the next week I'm really down, and it's just life, and it's normal, and that's what it's supposed to be. But when you take a look at that course and you think of ups and downs, obviously life is not gonna be like, it shouldn't be just like this or just like this. But when you think of ups and downs, it's like minimal ups and downs, like up, down, but it should be moving up. But it's okay to have, and I think people say life has ups and downs. Sure, today I feel happy. If I get a call and something, I'm gonna feel, but it's not gonna not gonna take me down anymore because of that course, because it gave me the tools and the information, so I'm more stable. And I'm like, oh, okay, so yeah, life has ups and downs, just tiny bits, but I'm always gonna be moving up. Your life should not be like this, because if it is like this, it's because you have people around you that are holding you down and you can't like be yourself. So I love that.
What was your your first one and your
Ups and downs. It changed my life because I'm like, bye everybody. I cut heads. Like I just, you know, in that course they made you like you do a list of, and I made my list, and none of those people are in my life anymore.
Wow.
Good job.
We didn't make it to the list. Yay! No, now Stephanie's like, now I need to add people. Who do I need? Let me think about
No,
it.
because now I filter people that enter my life after that cleanse.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I'm so happy we're here, guys. Celebrate. Chia made it. Chia made it to the cuts. Cheers to you for your bachelorette. Wishing you the best for your marriage. And we'll see you guys in Colombia.
Yeah.